Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 10, Lesson 67, and today we're looking at one small letter that does a surprising amount of work, the capital. Where exactly does a capital letter belong? At the start of a sentence, of course, but also inside quotations, on a line of poetry, after a colon, inside parentheses, and in a letter's greeting. Let's walk through every place that first word gets a capital, and the few tricky spots where it doesn't. Let's start with the rule you already half know. Capitalize the first word of every sentence. Look at the first line on the board. The sky cleared before noon, written with a small t. Something feels off, doesn't it? Your eye is hunting for a signal, and it isn't there. Now the second line. The sky cleared before noon. That capital T says, a new thought starts here. It's a signpost, and your reader leans on it without ever noticing. Every single sentence you write gets one, so the rule is short. A new sentence means a capital letter, every time. Now let's bring in quotations. When you quote someone's exact words, and those words make a complete sentence, the first word inside the quotation marks gets a capital letter. Look at the board. Maya said, "We leave at dawn." The quoted words are a whole sentence of their own, so the W in we is a capital, even though it lands in the middle of the line. And it doesn't matter where the quotation sits. Flip it around and put the quotation first. "We leave at dawn," Maya said. The W is still a capital. Why? Because the quoted sentence starts fresh. It's a sentence in its own right, so we capitalize it wherever it appears. Here is the subtle one, the divided quotation, where a speaker tag cuts the quotation in half. Sentence 1. "We leave," she said, "at dawn." Push the quoted halves back together and you get one single sentence. We leave at dawn. It was simply split down the middle. Because the second half continues that same sentence, the word at stays lowercase. Do not capitalize it. That's the mistake almost everyone makes. Now, sentence 2. "We leave," she said. "Bring a coat." Look at the punctuation this time. There is a period after said. That period closed the first sentence, so what follows is a brand new one, and bring takes a capital B. So the punctuation before the second half is your whole clue. A comma means the sentence keeps going, and a period means a new sentence starts over. There are two more cases where you leave that letter small. First, the indirect quotation. She said that we leave at dawn. Notice, there are no quotation marks at all. We're reporting the idea, not repeating the exact words. This is reported, not quoted. Nothing is being quoted, so the word we stays lowercase. That little word that is often your signal, said that, told me that, explained that. Second case, a quotation that is only a piece of a sentence. The mayor called it a bold, costly plan. Those words do sit inside quotation marks, but they are not a full sentence. They are just a phrase lifted out of one. So that word stays small as well. Put it together. Only a quoted complete sentence takes a capital. There are three more places the first word gets a capital. Start with poetry. Traditionally, a poet capitalizes the first word of every line, even when the line is not a new sentence. Slowly the river turns to gold, and then, far off, a heron lifts its wing. Each line begins with a capital. I say traditionally because plenty of modern poets break that habit on purpose. So when you quote a poem, copy exactly what the poet wrote. Next, outlines. Capitalize the first word of every item. Roman numeral 1, choose a topic. Roman numeral 2, gather your notes. And last, the colon. When a complete sentence follows a colon, it is common to capitalize it. One rule matters: never skip the draft. But if only a fragment follows the colon, leave it small. Now, parentheses. If what sits inside the parentheses is a complete sentence standing on its own, capitalize it and punctuate it like the sentence it is. Look, open parentheses. The experiment takes 5 minutes, period, close parentheses. It stands by itself, so the gets a capital T and the period goes inside. But watch what changes when that same idea is tucked into another sentence. Set out the gear, open parentheses. It takes 5 minutes, close parentheses, and begin. Now the parenthetical is writing inside a bigger sentence. It is not on its own, so it stays lowercase and the period disappears. So ask one question. Is this parenthetical standing alone or living inside a host sentence? 2 quick ones to finish. First, the pronoun I. It is always a capital. Always. Everywhere. No exceptions at all. Beginning, middle, or end of the sentence, that single letter is a capital I. When I called, Ravi and I laughed. Capital both times. Second, letters. Capitalize the first word of the salutation and the first word of the closing. Dear Ravi, sincerely yours. But notice only the first word. In sincerely yours, the word yours stays lowercase. And that is the whole lesson. Sentences, quotations, poetry, outlines, colons, parentheses, and the pronoun I. Different homes, but the same idea every time. Capitalize that first word. Ready to practice? In this first set, every sentence has a blank, and every blank sits in or near a quotation. You choose. Does that word take a capital or stay lowercase? Pause the video and decide before I reveal each answer. Nina said, blank, road is closed. Ask the only question that matters. Are the quoted words a complete sentence? The road is closed. Yes, that is a whole sentence sitting inside the quotation marks. So its first word takes a capital. The answer is the with a capital T. We leave, she said, blank, dawn. This one is a divided quotation. Push the quoted halves together and you get a single sentence. We leave at dawn. The second half is simply the rest of that same sentence, so it does not start over. The answer is at, lowercase. He said that blank leave at dawn. Hunt for quotation marks. There are none. This is an indirect quotation. We are reporting the idea, not repeating the exact words. Nothing here is quoted, so nothing gets capitalized. The answer is we, lowercase. Now the other places a capital can hide, after a colon, inside parentheses, and that one stubborn pronoun. Same job, capital or lowercase. Pause and choose before each answer. Ravi and blank waited in the rain. This is the easiest point in the lesson. The pronoun I is always a capital, no matter where it lands, beginning, middle, or end. So the answer is I, capital I. Take the trail. Open parentheses. Blank map is on the back page. Close parentheses. Is that parenthetical a complete sentence standing on its own? The map is on the back page. Yes, and it even carries its own period inside the parentheses. Standing alone means it gets a capital. The answer is the. Bring one thing, colon, blank warm coat. What follows the colon is a warm coat, a fragment, not a complete sentence. A complete sentence after a colon would take a capital, but a fragment stays small. So the answer is A, lowercase a. Let's gather it all up. Capitalize the first word of every sentence and the first word of a direct quotation whenever the quoted words form a complete sentence. But keep it lowercase in the second half of a divided quotation, where the sentence is simply continuing, and in an indirect quotation, which has no quotation marks at all. Capitalize the first word of a line of poetry, the first word of each outline item, and a complete sentence that follows a colon or stands alone inside parentheses, while a bare fragment stays small. And 2, you can never miss. The pronoun I is always capital, and so is the first word of the greeting and the closing of a letter. That is capitalization of sentences. In our next lesson, we'll turn to the capitalization of proper nouns. I'll see you there.